Hi, how are you doing? Um, Today we would like to talk to you, myself, and my buddy, Joe English. We would like to talk to you about reflexive and intensive pronouns. So today's topic will be about reflexive and intensive pronouns. So without further ado, let's share the PowerPoint and discuss these two types of pronouns. Okay. All right, let's start. Reflexive and intensive pronouns. In the form of singular, we say I, myself, he, himself, she, herself, it, itself. So the reflexive pronoun or the intensive pronoun would be in this form: myself, himself, herself, itself. Also, if they are plural, we say yourself, you, yourself, ourselves, we, ourselves, and yourselves for the plural, and they, themselves for the third person plural as well. Okay? Reflexive pronoun. It refers to a noun or another pronoun indicates that the person or thing is involved. The same person or thing is involved. It refers to the subject of the sentence and is necessary to understand the meaning of the sentence. So in case of the reflexive pronoun, it refers back to the subject of the sentence, and so it's necessary to understand the meaning of the sentence. The reflexive pronoun is necessary to understand the meaning of the sentence. Example: he surprised himself by breaking the home run record. So he himself was surprised. So when we say he surprised himself, himself refers back to the subject he, and in this case, it's a reflexive pronoun. So it reflects back or it refers back to the subject. Another example: Donna prepared, can I say himself? No, because Donna is the subject and Donna is a proper name indicating a woman. So we say herself, not himself. So herself in the second example is a reflexive pronoun because it refers back to the subject of the sentence, and that subject is a proper name for a female. Okay, so both referring back to the subject and both are important to understand the meanings of the sentences. How about the intensive pronoun? The intensive pronoun adds emphasis to a noun or another pronoun. It's not necessary in the sentence. The meaning of the sentence will not change if we take it out. Example: Leo himself prepared the main course. So himself is here for, for emphasis. We use it for emphasis, okay? And if we take it out and say Leo prepared the main course, it doesn't change the meaning or affect the meaning in that sentence. Another example: the cat itself caught the mouse. So if I say the cat caught the mouse, it has the same meaning. So in these two examples, himself or itself are just there for emphasis. That's why we call these pronouns intensive. Intensive because they place emphasis on who did this action, for example. Leo himself, the cat itself, and not something else. Okay? So today's lesson is very easy. In case of the reflexive pronoun, it refers back to the subject and it's necessary to understand the meaning of the sentence. In case of the intensive pronoun, is not necessary to understanding the meaning of the sentence and it is just used for emphasis. So I say Leo himself, not someone else, did blah 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 or prepared the main course. The cat itself and not another cat or another thing called the mouse. Okay. Notice, it's very easy to change the reflexive pronoun to an intensive pronoun. So, for example, if we say, the boy made himself breakfast, that is a reflexive pronoun. We can as well say, the boy made breakfast himself. The boy made breakfast himself, which would be intensive. Okay, so the first one is reflexive, the second one is intensive. So the intensive can come at the end of the sentence, or it can come right after the noun or pronoun that it emphasizes. For example, we can say, the boy himself made breakfast, or the boy made breakfast himself, not someone else. Another example, the queen bought herself a dog. The queen bought herself a dog. That's a reflexive pronoun. The queen herself bought the dog. This is for emphasis, or as we say, intensive pronoun. So we have an example of a reflexive and then change it into an intensive pronoun. The first one is reflexive. The second one is intensive. Another example, Jackson taught himself to play the piano. So Jackson taught himself. This is a reflexive pronoun. Jackson himself, that is a case of the intensive for emphasis. So Jackson himself taught the child to play the piano. One is reflexive, the second one is intensive. Okay, so let's do some exercise now as an application to our lesson today. So now practice. Number one, the mayor himself cut the ribbon at the building. Okay. Two, Jennifer accidentally cut herself on the broken glass. We need to decide these pronouns, are they reflexive or intensive pronouns? Now take a look, and I'll leave you for a minute to take a look at this exercise. Then we can do it together as an application to what we have understood from our lesson today. Okay, guys, good. Thanks for trying. Let's do this together. Number one, the mayor himself cut the ribbon. Intensive, okay, because himself is for emphasis. Number two, Jennifer accidentally cut herself. So she cut herself. This refers back to she or Jennifer. Reflexive. Yes, correct. Number three, the team pushed themselves to the limit. So themselves refers back to the team. Reflexive. Number four, Ramon cleaned the room by himself. Okay, or Ramon himself cleaned the room. This is intensive. It emphasizes that Ramon and not someone else cleaned the room. Number five, Dan himself did not know where he put his pencil. Dan himself. So, emphasis or intensive. The number six, the dog made itself dizzy. Reflexive because itself refers back to the dog. Number seven, I read the book myself. So I, myself. Okay, so myself refers back to I, so it's reflexive. Today's lesson is very easy. If a pronoun refers back to the subject and is necessary to the meaning of the sentence, then it's reflexive. If it is just there to emphasize who did this action and or that person did that thing and not someone else, in this case, it's intensive. And in case of the intensive pronoun, it's not necessary. If even if we take it out, the sentence will be quite understood with no problem. So again, my tip for you is when you learn any piece of grammar or any piece of structure or how to use the language or something related to morphology or how to form this word or how this pronoun or that thing works, we need to put it to practice. It doesn't matter how many pieces of grammar we know. It doesn't matter how many rules of grammar or morphology or syntax we know about. What really matters is to put this into use in real life situations in a natural language or as natural language as possible. Okay, so my advice to you is when you learn something, try to apply this or your knowledge to real situations. Use this piece of grammar that you have learned in your speech and in your writing, because without practicing you will forget it, and there is no reason why I should, or you as well of course, learn this piece of grammar or this rule of grammar without any benefit of using it. So grammar for the sake of grammar is nonsensical. We learn some grammar to be able to use the language correctly, but also we need to use it fluently and naturally, so that we can use this to communicate with native speakers, to achieve real life objectives like meeting with some person and being able to express ourselves, being able to book a flight or go to the doctor's office or whatever the thing that we want to do. And we should use the language quite often, because if we do not put ourselves under the pressure of the language, we are not going to actually learn it. We need to be patient and we need to keep using it. And the more we use the language, we will perfect this language and we will, improve our knowledge and our usage of the language quite a lot. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.